Okay, welcome back for the second part of paper mache. And I have left this outside in the sun to dry for about, I don't know, 2.5 hours. I've had a couple squirrels come up and sniff it to see what it was, but they were uninterested in it other than that. I have some paint for this next part. I am super limited here at home, surprisingly enough, with what I have in terms of colors. So I kind of mix to make the colors I need. If you want to paint this, go right ahead. Use whatever colors you want. It doesn't have to be a pencil. It can be a colored pencil, and you can use whatever color you want. For time's sake, I'm going to use a whole bunch of different brushes just so I don't have to wash them in between. But obviously, if you're at home, there's no problem with just using one brush and a cup of water and rinsing it off in between colors. And then the other thing you're going to need is a piece of aluminum foil or tin foil. And if you have it, I've already been ripping this apart, a newspaper. This is the shopper leftover, but you just want something that's pretty thick. You want it to be able to have a squish to the bottom of it, and I'll explain that in a second. So what I'm going to do, all right, we're going to start with the end. So I'm going to use this pretty peachy color and paint all over the back to make the eraser. And funny enough, I looked all over my house and we don't have a single pencil that's just a regular plain old pencil so that I could try to match the colors. I did, however, find this one, and look, it says Groton Elementary School on it. That's pretty funny, huh? I don't even know where that came from. All right, so I'm just painting, and your lines where this part meets doesn't have to be super nice and neat because we're going to use the tin foil to make the silver part. We'll do that in a second. And I'm using acrylic paint, which is a more permanent paint. It's not going to come off very easily if you get it on your clothes. It will come off your hands, so don't worry about that. But you do want to protect your work surface. Okay. And then I've made this kind of yellowy color. It kind of looks like a pencil color, right? Kind of, sort of. Kind of, sort of, maybe. Not really. Carly's nodding yes. It works. Okay, and again, you don't have to make a nice pretty line right here because we're going to cover up this section with that silver part. I'm just filling this in. You might need 2 coats. You might need to paint it once, let it dry, and then paint it again. Just depending on what type of paint you're using and how thick it is, and what kind of coverage it has. I can still see some of my newspaper through this stuff. All right. So this is still pretty tacky, but it's drying. Okay. So I'll set this like this just for a second. I'm going to mix a little more white in for this tip color. There we go. That looks a little bit more accurate. Different time of day, so the light is much better in here now. Sorry about that weird shadow earlier. Maybe that means that the nice weather is coming. Who knows? Okay, so I have that down, and I'm gonna actually go back through with this right now and do these little kind of W's or V's. Just the little zigzags to kind of make it look like a pencil. Like it's been gone through the sharpener. Nothing fancy. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. Give this one more coat. All right. actually going to mix a little bit of white in with my black to make kind of a charcoal color for the top. Or I should call it a graphite color. You might want to let this dry in between your different stages if you don't want to hold on to wet paint. I don't mind because that's what I do. There we go. How's that looking so far? Okay. Close enough for right now. I'll let this dry and then I'll give it a little bit more so it's not mixing. Now I'm gonna set this, I'll set that like that. That'll be fine there. And I'm actually gonna roll this up so my work area is clean to show you the next part. Okay, so don't mind my dirty hands. For the next part, you want this thick piece of newspaper. I actually want it as squishy as possible. And I'm going to take my piece of tin foil and I've started to fold it to the width that I want my metal piece to be, which is probably like this, maybe even a little smaller. Okay. And you can choose if you want the shiny side out or the shiny side in. You'll notice that if you look closely at tin foil, one side is dull and one side is shiny. I'm getting paint on mine. I might just flip it at the end. There we go. Okay, so once you get to the end, you're going to take a pencil, and it's actually helpful if it's a dull pencil. And you're just going to put it on top of this, and this is going to give you something to write on. And you can give it these texture lines. See the real texture lines that are on there? So you're just going to kind of engrave it with these texture lines, and what the newspaper underneath it does is it makes it have like a squishy surface so that you can actually press down into the tin foil or the aluminum foil. You can make a line that goes sideways. You can really do this any way you want. And you probably don't need this wide of a piece. Give it some circles. You can decorate any way you want. All right. I might, let's see. Yeah, I don't want mine to be huge, so I'm gonna trim it a little bit. And when you're done, you can take glue stick or really anything. Cover in the back in glue. Make sure. This might not stick for me right now because it's still wet. My paint's still tacky. But just for demonstration, I'll show you. I'm just going to put this down right at the end. Wrap it around. And there you have it. The cutest little pencil nub. I hope you guys have fun making these. I can't wait to see what you do. Bye.